Yo, what is up, guys? I am back, and I'm going to be giving you guys my picks and predictions for UFC Freedom 250. Let's get right into it. I feel like this card is so easy to predict, and, I just think I could get a clean sweep on this one. There's not that many fights on it. I think it's going to be easy to predict. Bro, Topuria has been looking crazy. He looks like he put on a good 10 pounds of muscle since he last fought. He's been off for a year. I think that he's going to destroy Justin Gaethje. This is a divorced Ilya Topuria, bro. She took the kids, Justin. She took the fucking kids. It's over for Justin. Alex Pereira got a BBL. Absolutely crazy. He's been bulking up pretty nicely. I think he's in good shape. I think he'll be able to get the job done, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Sean O'Malley, Amin Zahabi, that's an easy fight. Josh Hokett, Derek Lewis, bro. Derek Lewis outside is going to be burning. He's going to take his pants off mid-fight, bro. His balls was hot. I'm telling you right now, that shit is not going to be good for him. Marcio Rufi, Michael Chandler, bro. Rufi's going to kill him. Bo Nickel, Kyle Dawkins, absolutely just random ass fight in this card. And Diego Lopez and Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia sacrificed Charlie Kirk to get on this fight card. That's all I got to say. I don't know how the fuck he's on the card, but amen. I'll break it down in a little bit. Starting off, Ilya Topuria and Justin Gaethje. Ilya Topuria is going to destroy Justin Gaethje. Every single asset in the game of MMA, Ilya Topuria is better at. And, the shape that he's going to come into this fight with is going to be insane. He had that slick back hair. Bro, we are knocking out Justin Gaethje in the first round. I do not give a fuck. After the divorce, we are not taking shit lightly. I do like Justin's, mindset coming into this fight, though. Like, he's kind of, undermining Topuria's confidence, and I haven't seen anybody do that to the degree that, Gaethje has. So I will give him the props to that, but it's not going to help. I do think that, Gaethje is going to have to either go all out in the first round, or he's going to have to try to wrestle and clinch and dirty box with Ilya Topuria, use his, frame advantage and try to find an overhand over the top. But I just don't think it's going to be enough. I think Topuria is too good. And, your time has come. You're cooked, Justin Gaethje. You're cooked. Arman put $1 million on you. Arman is dumb as fuck. He is dumb as fuck. I don't know why he put $1 million on Gaethje, but hey, man, it's whatever. Topuria, I don't even got much to say about this. I think Topuria, he's just going to set up his shots well. He's better technically. He's a harder puncher, better wrestling. He has good leg kicks. I think Gaethje can use the leg kicks. In a realistic term of things, I think we could see Gaethje, use the size advantage, clinch up with Topuria, but I wouldn't say to take him down. I think Topuria will be able to submit him there because Gaethje is literally a white belt. But I would say that, he could use the leg kicks and, clinch up with him, throw crazy shots, just use that size and frame advantage. That's the only thing. But Topuria looks juice. That's the only, thing that has me scared for Gaethje, where if you think he could win, bro, Topuria is coming in exceptional shape, the best shape of his career, it looks like. But, bro, he got divorced. It's over for us, bro. It's actually over for us. Moving on, Alex Pereira, Cyril Gane. This is the hardest fight to predict on the card. All these other fights are easy to predict. This is, a 50-50 fight like the odds say. But I really do think that Alex Pereira will get it done. And the reason why is I think, he will be able to move forward. He'll be able to throw harder shots with conviction and just put a pace early on. Cyril Gane, I think he understands that when he's too patient, when he waits too much, he gives these guys too much of a chance to break him down, because he does have technical issues when the fight gets later on and when it gets a little slower. But, I think that his physicalness, his aggressiveness will be able to, weather on Gane early. And I think if he doesn't get the knockout in that first round, I think he'll be able to, use leg kicks. He'll be able to stalk him down, because Gane is not going to be a guy where he's going to pressure you the whole fight. He's going to walk you down the whole fight. He's going to kind of circle around, and I think that does give Pereira an advantage. The only thing that is bad for him is that Gon can switch stances and he's quick on his feet. So he is a little harder to leg kick than a lot of these other guys. But I just think that he's going to be too, you know, too aggressive on the inside. And I think he'll land something to where, he'll be able to rock on early on. And if he doesn't get the knockout right there, I think Gon will be super hesitant and Pereira will just continue to move forward and he'll get the KO later on. And I also think, it's scary seeing Pereira that, they're fighting outside. It's going to be humid. So the weight is going to be a little harder than it usually would be if this was in a regular controlled environment. But I still think Pereira, bro, the BBL, the power of the BBL is undefeated. I'm going to go Pereira round 2 KO easy. We need him to be triple champ. That would be amazing to see. Moving on, Sean O'Malley, Amin Zahabi. This is an easy layup fight. Even though Amin Zahabi is a good fighter, he's a decent fighter, I just feel like Sean should be fighting a little bit more of a competitive fighter because Amin Zahabi is unathletic as hell, and I just think that Sean's going to get it done by decision, I think. I don't think he'll get the KO unless he really sits down on his shots and throws them hard, but the lateral movement of Sean's going to be way too much. Amin Zahabi is too slow, too boxing orientated. I think he'll be, kind of flat-footed. He'll be smart enough to move and get out of there, out of the way of Sean O'Malley's shots, but Sean O'Malley will put on a masterclass, I think, either 30-26. I think he could even get a 10-8 round or, maybe round 3 KO. I just think that Sean O'Malley, too quick, too athletic. I think that he's going to start being a little bit more serious with his career and start to put on better performances, especially with competition of this, level. I just don't see him losing this. This is too much of a important fight, one, because it's on the White House, and two, I just think that, if he doesn't win this, it's over. It's actually over for him. He's never getting back to the title. So I think he's going to put on a crazy performance. And, I don't think that the weather will affect these lighter weight fights like this, but it will play a part. I think that Sean could get a little tired in the third round. I think that a lot of these fighters you're going to see, I don't see anybody else saying this, but, in the later stages of these fights, these can get a little rough just because of the weather. It's going to be very humid. I saw that there was 39% chance of a thunderstorm at the White House. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but on to the next. This is the fight where it's going to impact it the most. Josh Hokit versus Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is going to be sweating out every gallon of water in his body. I'm telling you right now, it's about to be hot as shit. Derek Lewis, his balls are about to be hot. His balls are about to be hot. Josh Hokit is going to dismantle Derek Lewis. And I swear I have a reasoning for this, why the weather makes a difference. I'm telling you right now, Josh Hokit playing football and being in a hot place, San Francisco, and being in a football uniform, you're primed and ready for the weather conditions. Derek Lewis has never felt that before, bro. His balls are about to be high. He's about to be twerking at the end of the fight when he's knocked out. I'm telling you, Josh Hokit will just put the pressure on him, and he's going to throw a 100-punch combination. The only thing that's scary in the first 45 seconds, because I think that's all the gas that Derek Lewis will have against Josh Hokit. If Derek Lewis lands a right hand like the ones that Curtis Blaydes were landing, he could get knocked the fuck out. I can't lie. But I do think Josh is going to be a little smarter in, the first 2 minutes of the fight. And then he'll kind of use the volume, and I think he should get him out of there in the first or second round. If this goes into the third round, Derek Lewis is on EPO. He's on drugs, he's on everything. He's on performance. There's no way that he makes it deep into the fight. I just don't see that happening. This is an easy fight for Hokit. Hokit's going to keep on. He's going to call out Pereira or Gon, and he's going to keep on doing what he's doing. I think you should really give him, a very hard matchup the next time out, maybe like Volkov or something like that. So anybody that's, really a real heavyweight competitor, because Derek Lewis, great fighter in his prime, but nowadays he's cooked. And now that he doesn't have as much athleticism, he's still in good shape sometimes, but I just don't think it's going to be his night. And, Hokit, give him Volkov. Let's see what he does, and then then you could talk about him getting one of the top 3 guys in the division. But Hokit, easy money, round 1 or 2 KO. Pick him, please. Easy work. On to the next. Roofy versus Chandler. Roofy is going to dismantle Michael Chandler, and I feel bad for Michael Chandler, bro. He gets tough matchups. Like Paddy Pimblett, not the best fighter in lightweight, but still a hard matchup for Chandler just because of the size. And I think the size will give Chandler a problem again. I just think that Roofy's 2 up the middle will be too much for him. And, he'll be landing that a lot. And it's going to be a rough night. I think he's going to bust open his face. And it's just going to be, bro, it's going to be gruesome, I think. I think, Chandler's going to get knocked out either, I think, in round 2. I think Chandler will have some success, honestly, in the first round because stylistically, the matchup is not the worst thing ever for Chandler. I just think Roofy, the way that he's been training, I think he's been training with Volk, and, he's in his prime of his career. He really wants to go and try to win the belt. So I think what will happen is that, he's gonna really play it safe out there in the first bit, but then Chandler is gonna come in, try to wrestle, do a step over overhand, and it's not going to turn out well after that. He might have some success with that, might be able to land a right hand, and because Roofy does stay planted on his feet sometimes against the cage. That's the only bright side. I could see Michael Chandler maybe landing a good right hand, not knocking him out, but landing a good one and, chaining it into some wrestling. But other than that, Roofy will just be able to control the cage, get back to the center, keep landing good shots, be able to land some kicks, leg kicks. Chandler can land some leg kicks as well. I think that will, slow down Roofy and make it a little bit easier for him. But Roofy will be able to recover quick, like we saw in the Fiziev fight, and, get back to it, land his power shots, land some kicks up the middle. And I just think Roofy by round 2 KO, brutal. That's what I think. On to the next. Bo Nickel, Kyle Dawkins. Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing, Dana White? Like, I don't know. There's so many. This fight card was so disappointing to see get announced because they just announced absolute bullshit. Like, why is Kyle Dawkins on the White House card? It just doesn't make sense. Bro, Bo Nickel's going to win. I just think, Kyle Dawkins' striking is decent, but I think Bo Nickel's striking is technical enough. He doesn't brawl. I don't think he'll get caught. I think he'll be able to chain together the wrestling and, control the fight. I could see this one being, I don't think he's going to knock out Kyle Dawkins because Kyle Dawkins is a bigger guy. I think, he understands the striking a little bit better. But I just see, Nickel being able to control it, the pace, the distance, and he'll be able to wrestle, control him some of the rounds, but then I think he'll try to prove himself with the striking. I think it'll be, 29-28, 30-27 decision for Bo Nickel. Easy money, bro. What does Bo Nickel have on the UFC? Like, I know that he's like a draw, he has a name, but it's just not there, bro. Like, he's just not there. After he lost to RDR, it's just his career is cooked. He needs to make a change. I don't know what he's going to do. I want to see him fight a top 15 guy next at least, maybe even a top 10. We'll see, depending on the matchup. But, hey, man, Bo Nickel for at least a fucking U.S. citizen, brother. He has a beer. Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. This fight is an actual banger. This deserves to be on the White House card. Steve Garcia sacrificed Charlie Kirk to be on this card. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. I saw somebody say that. I'm like, bro, this is not right. I mean, Steve Garcia is a good fighter, good striking, but I still think he's going to get slimed out, bro. Diego Lopez is going to clutch up for us. He's going to show everyone why he got, 2 title shots against Volk for some reason. He's going to get a third after this one. Retirement fight for Volk. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but I don't know what they're going to do with Lopez after this fight. Give him a top 4 guy, but, Lopez should win this one pretty easily. I think, he'll be able to land some close shots inside and even wrestle if he has to. I think Garcia will land some really good shots early on, and it'll look bad for Lopez, but, Lopez will tire him out a little bit with being able to eat the shots and then coming back on the inside with, hooks and everything and clinches. And if it does go to the ground, like Lopez gets knocked down, I think he'll be able to come back and grapple and, find some jiu-jitsu situations where he could win. But, Garcia has a good 1-2 up the middle, good, distance strikes. But I still think Lopez is just, all around better fighter, and he should be able to take it. But, hey, man, I think this fight card is entertaining. It's going to have a lot of good fights on it. And I think they're easy fights to pick. Like, this is one of my most confident full card picks just because obviously there's not as much fights. And I think they gave a lot of people easy fights on this. I think, Parlay, Diego Lopez, Bo Nickel, Rufi, Hokit, O'Malley, Pereira, Topuria. Bro, you're cashing out on that shit instantly. I think it's going to be an amazing fight card. A lot of funny stuff is going to happen probably. We'll see with the press conference and everything. But, I'm excited for it. Yo, enjoy your time, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.